if you're at home and you have access to an oil can, I'm gonna need you to just hustle it on down here so that we can get Leah Rizzo moving a little bit.
I'm sore, all right? I did some Pilates this morning, and that was with, the dumbbells and the ankle weights. But the real mistake I made was sharing that I didn't do much yesterday for my weekend, but I did clean my house with wrist weights.
So, the next time that you're looking for a way to spruce up your spring cleaning, go ahead and toss those wrist weights on and get after it.
I don't remember what video I was watching on TikTok, but people in the comments were talking about how sometimes they do their chores with like wrist weights and stuff attached. And I was like, that's either a brilliant idea or it's a ridiculous one.
You're just taking a page out of Mr. Miyagi's playbook, a little wax on, wax off, learn how to do a few things and make them athletic at the same time.
Yes. So Sunday was my lazier day, but Saturday I had a chance to check out the Milton Theater's production of West Side Story finally, which if you remember a couple weeks ago, we had the two stars, Tony and Maria, here on the couch, and to see them in action was just next level.
We were both there, and actually Madeline Overturf was as well. You went with Kendall. I had my family and my wife in tow.
The whole Coast TV field trip.
A whole lot of WRDE, Coast TV, Coast Life down there. It was a fantastic performance, and I encourage you guys, whether it's for West Side Story, whether it's for another Milton Theater play down the line.
Yeah, because I saw Legally Blonde there too, and it was really good.
Get out there. The guys they bring in,
yes,
they are you're going to see something that you'll go like, oh, I didn't know we had that level around here.
It's that tier of production quality that you don't necessarily, you think that's more for the bigger cities, if you will, but it really is something. And what they do with the set space too, because it is not a big stage.
No,
so you've got these crazy dancers. I mean, there was a scene where they all went into it, like every single person on stage went into a split, and Kendall and I were like, oh, amazing. But it's just, I don't know how they don't fling themselves off the stage.
Yeah,
but I know.
they're all jumping in directions without falling off a very small area.
Yes, so just if you have a chance to get out and see a show there, you're supporting, Milton Theater is a nonprofit, so you're supporting the arts, you're supporting a local nonprofit, you're supporting just so much that makes it a creative hub right here in our community, and you get to see a fantastic show, which I know for both of those two, Tony and Maria were like dream roles for the leading actors, and they killed it.
It's West Side Story.
They crushed it.
It's a tale as old as time.
Get your snapping ready when you go. Something else that we wanted to talk about, Charlie, I know you had some bad driving encounters.
So I'm going to be old man yells at clouds Charlie today, but if there's like 2-3 people in a line on our very small back roads, we don't need you to like zoom around everybody, put like lives in danger. Where are you going? Where's the fire? You're not going to get there any quicker. And then the same car that did that today pulled the tried and true, I'm like a junior in high school and I think I'm slick, like at the intersection, like take the right, quick U-turn, take the right so you don't have to wait for the light. Unless there's like a medical emergency on the line, what are we even doing, guys? Like this has got to stop. People got to be part of a community, part of a society, and driving like a crazy person is just no way to do it.
Especially if you are like the third or fourth car back, don't go around people because it can be really dangerous.
We have 1 lane road,
there's
2-lane roads or whatever everywhere.
There's an intersection by my parents' house that's like that if you're enough cars back, you can't see who's turning left or right. And so people will sometimes try to ride that bus lane and like go around people. Meanwhile, someone's trying to turn right into the neighborhood. And so like it's a gutsy choice. I wouldn't do it. So definitely, bring your patience with you.
I know it gets frustrating.
Sure.
I know we have roads that are backed up by traffic all the time, but you're just going to have to deal with it until something improves because putting everybody's lives in danger isn't the right way to go about it.
No, definitely not. I think I reserve most of my traffic anger for the left lane campers because Route 1 is not for camping in the left lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a couple cars back, just be patient, follow the rules. And I think especially for younger drivers out there, maybe you don't know yet exactly why people wait when you're in a line of cars. So it is important, especially because you don't know if a cyclist could be crossing the street. Like there's so many ways that could go wrong, especially if you are, headed towards the beach towns. There are a ton of cyclists out and about.
Yeah, people on mopeds too,
that's
whatever
right.
it might be.
Yes. So just take your time, pack your patience with you when you're, headed to that area, and just know that, we're all in it together. unfortunately, and don't block the box. Again, my other biggest pet peeve driving down Coastal Highway around the beaches is if you block the intersection at a light.
You're just going to get a lot of horns coming your way.
You're going to get horns, fists being shaken at you, and you deserve every bit of it.
Also coming up this week, remember, we are moving into Pony Swim.
Yes.
That's going to be on Wednesday. I can't wait to be a part of this coverage with you guys. We're going to, of course, for Coast TV, we'll have hits in our morning show that day at 5 and 6. I'm going to be at the DSN studios, the Delmarva Sports Network studios, and our full coverage of the Pony Swim, that starts at 7. It's going to go to sometime around 9. That all depends on how fast the swim goes.
Ponies.
The tides, the ponies, whatever goes into it. But you're going to want to tune into that on the DSN network or the DSN Plus app. We're going to have a bunch more Pony Swim coverage coming up later in today's show as well.
Right. Yeah, we're going to get a little bit more into it. And it does bring some tourists through the area. A lot of people want to see the ponies. Quite a few tourists into the area. And I would not qualify the Pony Swim as a tourist trap. I think it is a delight that tourists love. And really, I can't think of anywhere in our area that would be considered a tourist trap. But the results are in. And as far as nationwide goes, San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf has been named the worst tourist trap in the world, not just nationwide, in the world. Based on its overwhelming number of traveler complaints mentioning tourist trap in reviews, visitors criticize it for being overcrowded, overpriced, and inauthentic, despite its popularity and iconic sea lion sightings.
All right, well, I mean, listen. Sometimes places are a tourist trap because tourists do want to be there. So it's just part of the deal when you've got a place that everybody wants to go see,
Sure.
If you want to go see the Louvre, there's going to be a lot of tourists there.
Yeah.
If you want to go to the, certain things in New York City, there's going to be tourists.
I think, have you ever come across something that maybe you thought was going to be cooler than it ended up being? Like, I think for me, I wouldn't necessarily call it a tourist trap, at least not these days. Like maybe once upon a time it was. But south of the border between the Carolinas, it felt uncanny, I guess, if you will, that it felt like this is where the apocalypse scene takes place.
What are we talking about?
Have you never been to south of the border between the Carolinas?
No.
It's like a little fake Mexico, I guess, if you will, that they set up between North Carolina and South Carolina, and you pull off the highway.
This might be the strangest thing I've heard all day.
It is, and there's a giant tower with like a big sombrero that you can go up and see, and there's like these weird animal statues. There's allegedly a reptile house. I didn't have the heart to go in there because I was like, I don't know. But it's weird.
I don't mind when places have
it's quirky.
The weird thing, like giant ball of yarn, or come look at the old cars that look like Stonehenge for some reason. If your town doesn't have anything going on, I don't mind when people are like, we're gonna make something.
The thing is, right? It's not a town. It's just.
It's all it is.
It's just, yes, it's weird. And so it was fun and it was good for some silly photo ops, but I definitely all I was picturing was okay, this is how the apocalypse showdown scene where you've got your heroes coming in and there's guards on the sombrero tower.
When it looks like it could be a level in Call of Duty
That's
or
kind
something
of what
like
I was
that.
Getting, yeah.
It's not always the best.
Yeah, but that was, again, I don't know if that's necessarily a tourist trap because
it's
at this point in time, there weren't that many people there. But I think once upon a time, it might have been, a bigger draw for folks going to the Carolinas. So there you go. But we have a show to get to. Let's see what's coming up on Coast Life. Well, we hope you're in the mood for a laugh. That's why we've got our joke jar for you to brighten up your Monday.
Plus, later on in the show, we're going to have Madeline Overturf joining us. She's going to be talking about Pony Swim, and we're going to have somebody who's taken a look at the author who wrote Visti of Chincoteague, how that got her back into sort of the excitement of Pony Swim.
That's right. And as we get older, our bones sometimes start to lose a little bit of that density. So if you are struggling with maybe osteoporosis, we've got some folks that can keep your fitness journey on track while that's something that you're up against. All of that and more is coming up on Coast Life.
Coast Life is sponsored by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker Group. This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Custom Fit 360.
Well, we know that we've got a lot of folks that have decided to retire down here along coastal Delmarva. I mean, what better way to spend your retired days that you worked so hard for than waking up, near the beach every day. But for some of, as we get a little bit older, that bone density starts to go down a little bit. You might notice a little bit of pain, discomfort, all those things. So to keep you on track, whether you're kind of just starting out your fitness journey or maybe you're discovering you have these problems and you don't know what to do about them yet, we've got David Blake with Custom Fit 360 joining us on the Coast Life Couch. Welcome back, David.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure being back here. Thanks for having me again, and look forward to talking about this today.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get right into it though, because for that group of people specifically that maybe they're worried about the bone density, that they're trying to do things to mitigate that or prolong the health of their body. What are some of the steps if somebody's coming into you? Let's say this is the first time they're coming into you, that you kind of want to look through or talk to them about to help with that?
Yeah, most of the time when someone comes in, they have already gotten some information from their doctor. They've had a bone density test recently done, and they've discovered their osteopenia, which is like pre-osteoporosis. And then we go into osteoporosis. So it's kind of some warning signs there, or they are full on osteoporosis and everything. So they're trying to combat that, maybe reverse it a little bit if possible. There are some pharmaceutical things that they could be doing, discussing with their doctor for that. But then resistance training and exercise is one of the biggest things to actually help not only combat it, but actually improve it so that we're gaining some bone density back.
Yeah, and that's where you guys come in. I mean, it's right there in the name, Custom Fit.
Yes.
So you guys really can have those one-on-one moments with a client that comes in and really customize their workout and their care.
Yeah, for sure. So regardless if they're coming in already having some joint pains and they're worried about, okay, am I going to do too much? Am I doing enough even? Because it's great to find a baseline and to start there, but we need to progress. It's not that we're going to go out there and start bench pressing 150 pounds and squat 200 pounds and things like that. We want to approach you where you're at, meet you there, progress you so that way we are actually working on that osteoporosis, osteopenia, whatever it is that you've come in with concerns with.
I think it's such an interesting conversation too, because when people think about going to the gym and working out, the first thing that comes to your head is younger folks trying to get in shape, get more muscle, this and that. But working out is about your whole life. It is about keeping your body healthy throughout that whole life. And what you guys are doing with this is so much. It's such a different aspect of something that is really important.
Yeah.
So when people come in, what's sort of the spectrum of conversations you're hearing from this group, this specific people in the osteoporosis side of things? What are some of the things that you're focusing on?
So a lot of that clientele and personnel is over 50 is when they start to see that they're starting to have those conversations with their doctors, getting those diagnoses. So when they come in, they're definitely concerned with, I don't want to lift too much. I don't want to make this worse because I have this risk. So like if I lift too much, I might actually make this worse, which can happen. So having that exercise science professional, that personal trainer that knows those limitations, we know the body very well. We're experts with the body, but you're also the expert on your body. So having those open conversations on your programming and an open dialogue between you and your coach and trainer is important as well. So that way you're feeling the most comfortable, but you're also getting the results that we're actually looking for, and that's where that specialist comes in working with you.
Having a professional guide you through it is the key
It's a
part.
big deal.
Right. So we definitely pride ourselves on the continued education aspect because there's things coming out every day. Just like healthcare workers are having to do their continued education to stay up to par on the new sciences that are coming out, we're ensuring that our trainers are doing that as well. And then one of the things I say is motion is lotion and rest is rust. We need to move when it's appropriate. There's a difference between rest and recovery. Post-surgery, things like that, yes, we need to recover. But if we're just having some aches and pains and we're able to move through that then that's definitely something we want to do. That's how we're going to regain some of that mobility and that pain-free movement.
Yeah.
And it's all really about quality of life in the end. It's about kind of making sure that you're going to be able to enjoy those retirement years.
Yes, you worked hard for them. You want to enjoy it.
You want to have an opportunity to go out and maybe you're a golfer, maybe you're into pickleball, maybe you just want to play with the grandkids, but you want to be able to do all those things.
Yeah.
For sure.
So David, for folks who maybe have received received some information from their doctor, they've started this conversation, and it has led them to, all right, maybe it's time to find a gym and a good workout routine. How can they get in touch with you guys at Custom Fit 360 and maybe start that conversation as well?
Yeah, so the first place I would have them go is to our website, which is www.customfit360de.com. On there, we actually have 2 facility locations. One is in 5 Points, Lewis, and the other one is down in Millville, right across from the Millville Boardwalk there, so that we're able to widen our span of who we can care for and address in the lower Delaware Shore.
Fantastic. Well, David, thank you as always for coming in and for taking care of everybody in our community, but especially those who have reached that retirement age and they just want to keep on keeping on as best they can. Coming up on Coast Life, though, World Breastfeeding Week kicks off. We've gotten a great event to tell you about that starts on Friday. It's got a lot of information that you don't want to miss. That's up next.
This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by BB Healthcare.
Well, Coast Life, if you're an expecting parent or a couple of parents, and maybe this is your first baby, you probably have a lot of questions, and a lot of questions specifically about breastfeeding. Well, lucky for you, we've got a very special guest joining us on the Coast Life couch. We've got Julie Oswald, the Lactation Program Coordinator with our friends at BB Healthcare. Now, Julie, World Breastfeeding Week kicks off here soon, and you guys have an event going on to kind of kick that off and celebrate. I know a lot of parents are going to have a lot of questions. What sort of things are you guys going over with this event? And when can people show up?
So the event is this Friday. We are literally kicking off the week, World Breastfeeding Week. So World Breastfeeding Week traditionally is the 1st through the 7th of August. So we're kicking it off with a big celebration for breastfeeding in our community, or breast milk feeding. Those who are pumping and giving breast milk, they are equally important. We have lots to offer. Our goal is to provide resources for the breastfeeding family.
Yeah.
So it can be feeding resources, it can be in-home help, it can be car seat safety. Some information on vitamin K is going to be present. We've got lots of vendors who are there just to support breastfeeding, and answer questions, and be a resource to parents.
Yeah, so how did World Breastfeeding Week kind of come together and kick off? Why is it so important to have this week to celebrate and to have these conversations? Because I think a lot of parents, either expectant or who have recently had a baby, there's a lot of guilt, I think, sometimes surrounding the conversation of breastfeeding.
Yeah, so back in 1992, World Breastfeeding Week celebration started. And the goal was to promote breastfeeding, educate on breastfeeding, but also support breastfeeding. And I think that's what was missing years ago. I know when I had my own kids, there was no support, or very little. And our goal is to support those parents with whatever their feeding choice is, but if they want to breastfeed, we're going to do whatever we can to empower them to do what they can for their baby. And we partner with Nemours Children's Hospital for this event, so the resources are coming from both Nemours and BB, so kind of spanning the state.
So who do you encourage to kind of come out to this event? Is it parents who are expecting a baby, maybe with their first baby, or if they've had a couple of kids and they're still like, well, maybe I still have more questions.
So it really is a family event. So anyone who's expecting, definitely come out, because you're going to get a lot of information that would help you start your journey. Those who are engaged in breastfeeding, but maybe having some complications, or maybe want to know what resources are out there for breastfeeding parents, they should come. And then, of course, bring the little ones. We have face painting and ice cream and
there you go,
story time, and lots of fun things for everyone.
There you go. You can get a little bit of their energy out while you ask away all of those really important questions to make sure that you're healthy, that baby is healthy, and like you said, it's just a family-friendly event. Now, Julie, I'm sure after this event, people are still going to have more questions, because they always have more questions. Is there sort of continued support after this event that folks can engage with you guys?
Absolutely. So we do a free breastfeeding class the first Thursday of each month in the evening. They can call BB Healthcare, ask for lactation, and we can get them registered for that if they're interested. We also have a free Latch at Lunch virtual support group. So this is every Wednesday at noon. They can jump on even if they didn't deliver at BB and get some help. So that's a really nice resource. And then, of course, they can also schedule private lactation consultations with our team, and we do those by appointment only, but they can call our office and schedule those.
Where can people go for more information? Is this a ticketed event? Do people need to just show up? Can they buy something ahead of time?
So registration is encouraged but not required. required. So you can go to the BB Healthcare website. You can register on there. We're dropping off flyers at the pediatrician's office, so you can scan the QR code and register that way, or you can just show up. It's at 10 a.m. It's short. It's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Nice.
But it is jam-packed with entertainment. So.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for coming in today, and I know that you guys are going to be a really great resource for a lot of people to kick off World Breastfeeding Week.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Of course. Don't miss it, because we do have some more Coast Life to get to, more fun that's coming your way.
Earlier in the show, both Leah and I were talking about going to a theater to see a play, which was a great time. Saw West Side Story over at Milton Theater. But the guys at the cinema having a big weekend as well. Listen to some of the numbers here. Fantastic Four is your weekend winner. Coming up with a big $118 million opening weekend, $218 million worldwide, and getting good reviews, by the way. 87% from the critics, 93% from the fans on Rotten Tomatoes.
There you
You
go.
can take it or leave it on
Pretty
whether
good.
you care about Rotten Tomato rankings, but that's where those numbers go. Other movies that did well this week, we had Superman still running strong, Jurassic Park still running strong, F1 still in the top 5, and I didn't even know this was coming out, but there was a Smurf movie that came out at 5.
That apparently rounded out the top 5. And I know that those family movies always tend to do well, especially in the summertime for the box office, because you're always going to just take your kids to go see something to get them out of the house.
Something to get them out of the house, and on the days that are as hot as we've had, in some AC.
Yeah, and it does not have to be a movie that the parents enjoy. I know that my mom, if there's one thing that she hasn't forgiven me and my siblings for, it was for dragging her to the Pokemon movie when the first one came out in theaters, and we were like, we have to see it. And she was like, that was the worst thing I've ever sat through. And we were like, it was so good.
Oh, what parents do for their kids.
Right. So very grateful that mom took us there and we had the best time and she did not. But yeah, Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four getting a lot of buzz. We'll see what kind of legs it has. Obviously, just a couple weeks ago, Superman came out. That got a lot of buzz as well. So it's been a big turnaround in box office. I'm looking at some of the numbers right now. On the whole, right now, the box office is up 12.5% over the same time last year, and it's expected to be strong for the rest of this year, and actually 2026 is also expected to be strong. So I think it's nice to see some recovery after things like the pandemic and the strikes, because I love going to a movie theater.
Me too. I love going to the movies. I love going. I just started for the first time ever. I went to see a movie by myself, and that was a lot of fun. But I do love to go with friends or family, and everybody is just watching the same thing. When you leave the theater, there's that same buzz of excitement that everybody has, and it's just, there were so many moments that I feel like were key parts of my childhood. Like I remember when the last installment of all the Harry Potter movies came out.
Yeah.
And we went to go see it. It might have even been a midnight showing. Like we were big into midnight showings for a hot minute. And I remember when everybody left the theater, there was like this collective moment of like, oh man,
it's
over.
That's
it's been
the whole
8
story.
movies, 8 years worth of this tradition of going out and being excited and seeing the next installment of Harry Potter. And there was this weird collective, like, it's over realization that you felt pass over every single person that was in that theater at the same time.
And I always love that 5 minutes after you leave the theater when you're with friends and you're all kind of giving your, what did you think about it?
Yeah.
Or, what did you think about it? And it is easy to get like wrapped up and think a movie's even better than maybe it was for like that initial, because
you just had such a
just
good
got
time.
exposed. You had a great time. You had some popcorn, probably a little too much candy, maybe a soda.
Yeah, the big soda. You've got to really like strategize. How long is the movie? How much soda can I drink before this point so I don't have to leave the theater at any point? Don't want to miss anything.
And if you have to run to the restroom, you're like trying to gauge like,
right.
Is this the 4 minutes of this movie that maybe I can miss
You're
and
like,
not miss something really important? It's always a fun game to play.
I've got a pretty good track record of not having to miss any movie time because I misjudged my soda drinking abilities. But I know Happy Gilmore was something you're excited about too, right?
Well, so I thought it was interesting. We had the big in-theater experience, and then Happy Gilmore 2 was out on Netflix. Now, I haven't seen it yet. Very mixed reviews online from people. Tori, one of our web folks downstairs, was like, it was great. It was everything I wanted it to be. So love that. Looking at the Rotten Tomato reviews, critics giving it 66%, fans a little higher at 72%.
Okay.
Silly comedies almost never get those higher ratings.
No,
So,
because they're silly.
and honestly, I don't go to the reviews for my
Right.
silly comedies. Like, that's not what I'm interested in. So I want to know from you guys, if you saw it over the weekend, if you're going to see it this week, I'd like to know from you what you thought of Happy Gilmore 2. I haven't seen it yet. I'm planning to do it
There you
probably
go.
sometime
Yeah.
this week and take a look. But, you know, it's just the latest in the Adam Sandler universe. And you talked about going back to your childhood with some of the Harry
Yeah.
Potter stuff. Going all the way
Yep.
back to Happy Gilmore takes me back, you know, way back.
That's true, and I think it's, you know, we've been so pummeled by sequels, I think, and like remakes and reinstallments of stuff that you have to do them right. And so I'm hoping that this is like a good homage to the original, or just like, you know, the fun sequel.
And also, we just don't get that many comedies anymore.
That's true.
We need more of them. You know, the way the economics of Hollywood
Yeah,
work now,
yeah.
they only want to go for like the big swing billion-dollar films. But
Yeah.
give me some more comedies,
And I think
guys.
people are
I
afraid
need
to write
laugh.
comedies these days too. So it's a delicate balance, but we'll see. Well, there you go. A great conversation about the movies. Love it. Coming up on Coast Life, though, we know you're going to love this. We got our joke jar, and I think we're going to dip our toe into blooper territory when we get back.
This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Kids Catch.
Well, Mondays can be a little bit difficult to get through, especially the closer you are to your afternoon. You're like, ugh, I'm just not feeling it. But we like to brighten up your day a little bit. And that's where our joke jar comes in. Thanks to our friends at Kids Catch. We still have some summer left to go. Indoor toys, outdoor toys, lots of family fun that can be found at Kids Catch. And usually for our joke jar, we've got some, you know, punny, humorous one-liner jokes for
A
you.
few groaners here and there.
Yeah.
You know, some fun with a joke or two.
But we also always think it's fun to kind of take you inside the behind the scenes here at our Coast Life studio, if you will. And we've got some bloopers, some goof ups, some mistakes, if that's what you want to call them, to share with you. So.
Well, surely I'm not going to pop
No,
up in
yeah,
any of
Charlie's
these 'cause
never in our bloopers.
I'm perfect on there all the
Yeah.
time. So I'm sure when we roll this, I won't be in there anymore.
Yeah. So why don't we take a look, shall we?
We're showing you what's fresh at Abbott's Grill. Catch the delicious, delicious.
Good. I messed up the framing anyway.
Okay.
Do the string itself.
And what was your other question about that? You said something.
I did say something. I don't remember what it was. We covered it. I am falling apart. My sandal just ripped. But not even the one that tripped me.
And that is...
We are going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We've got more Coast Life coming up after this.
That's right, Coast Life. We're taking you aboard the Coast Life Lewisberry, Cape May. My fault, we don't have a ferry yet, Coast Life.
Maybe. There you go.
Coast Life, today we're filming here at Dover Motor Speedway, where something epic. I couldn't out-talk that.
Oh.
Are we locked in?
No.
John?
Should open. Oh. Oh.
Do I have to text Meredith?
I think we did. I think you did.
No way!
Oh!
John!
I'm sorry.
Now, I know that day that my sandal broke after we were done recording, I also fell in the studio, but luckily the cameras weren't recording then. And it was one of those falls that just like, there was no saving myself. And
Yeah,
I
you're just
completely hit. Kendall said I felt like a cartoon. Like it was, she was like, that was the most cartoonish fall I've ever seen. So.
Well, I got to tell you, I was shocked to see that I actually did end up.
That you ended up in there?
In that piece. I had no idea. I thought I was flawless.
That's,
Short memory.
yeah, that short-term memory that Charlie suffers from. But hopefully you had some fun with our joke jar, and we love having fun with you. Coming up on Coast Life, though, we said we were going to be talking a little bit more about Pony Swim. We're going to get sort of the inside scoop from Madeline Overturf, who's going to be out there, but also I think the personal touch from her, because she is a horse girl. That's on the way.
You know, Coast Life fans, every day, for every weekday anyway, from 4 to 5, I sit here with Leah.
That's
we
right.
have chats. And then right after that, at 5 and at 6, I hang out with Madeline Overturf on the news side, but today, Maddie, we are talking about the pony swim,
Yes,
which is
I know.
why we get the great
She's all
hat.
decked out, and the shirt, I love it.
My Misty shirt, which I bought actually at the Museum of Chincoteague for pony swim coverage. So when our bosses said you're going to cover the pony swim again this year and go on Coast Life to talk about it, I said, do you want me to wear my Misty shirt and my cowboy hat? And the answer
we
was
said,
yes.
yeah.
You have to.
Yes,
so.
you do.
Of course you do. So you've got the get-up, but you've also got the inside scoop on all things that are going on with Pony Swim this year. It is the 100th annual. So what can people expect with our Pony Swim coverage here with our Draper Media family? Because it's kind of an epic crossover.
It really is an epic crossover. Yeah, it is truly like all systems go. We have everybody together. So the swim itself is estimated to be between 7 and 9 a.m. because they have to go at slack tide when the ponies can swim across the channel when the water's the lowest or safest.
Yeah.
So we will have special coverage 7 to 9 on Delmarva Sports Network. This man right here will be anchoring that.
Hello, everybody.
So, but I'll be out in the field on the dock, which is right where all the action is happening, and we'll be there, and we'll be ready if they go at 7:05 or 8:55, and we'll see what happens. So we're all going to be there showing you guys the sights, the sounds, the unbelievable, truly experience of seeing these wild animals in this incredible, beautiful environment. And we'll have it all angles covered for you on Delmarva Sports Network with everybody with Draper Media.
What do you remember from just the first time you got to see it? Like if you're trying to explain it to somebody who's never been before.
It's hard to explain it. So what it is, for those who aren't familiar, basically, is the Chincoteague wild ponies. They are a wild horses. They live on Delmarva, and they're managed just very briefly by the fire department just for health purposes, but they're wild. They don't get fed by us, nothing like that. And then the swim is this giant extravaganza, really, where they are herded across the channel. They swim onto the banks. They're paraded through town. And then there's the carnival all week, and they auction off some of the foals for population control. It's also a fundraiser for the fire department because the fire department manages the herd, which is all volunteer. So that's the gist of it. And really, it's the pony swim because the ponies swim. And people can't understand that really, but when you see it and you hear it, my favorite thing to do is just close my eyes and listen for 30 seconds because you just can hear these animals breathing, the swimming, the cowboys going, yeah, and they're pushing them across, and it's all so natural. Like the ponies know what they're doing, the cowboys know what they're doing, and it's just everybody's in sync, and it's just this really, really cool experience that it's hard to describe, but when you feel it, you feel really in connection with something that never happens in this day and age. But here in Chincoteague, you're going to see them as close as you and I are.
Yeah.
There will be a fence. Now, if anyone's watching this, you cannot touch them, okay? Don't touch the ponies, don't do it. But they'll be so close to you, you can feel their breath on you, which is really amazing. So it'll be a great time. I mean, you'll have the best view with our team. The helicopter view was my first year covering it. I was in the helicopter and like looking down.
Which is the great view.
Yeah, and you just see the ponies swimming and you're like, what is happening?
But let's just talk about horses for a minute. You've got the hat. You're a big fan of horses. When did you first, become enchanted by these animals that are so majestic?
I really got into it as a kid because I think with horses, it's really in connection with another creature, and there's a lot of parallels into communication and connection, and that's why I really love it. So and there's just something magical about them. Anybody who works with horses knows they're really emotionally intelligent, and it's just something really special. So I'm a big horse girl over here. Hence the shirt and the hat, and again, bosses said do it. So not at 5 and 6 tonight, but maybe at the pony swim you'll have it.
There you go.
And all week there's events
all
too.
week, that's true.
And we will have little snippets of that throughout the newscasts and here on Coast Life. But the big day is Wednesday. Charlie and I will be a part of it, and can't wait to have everybody join us.
Yes. Well, thanks again, Maddie, for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Maddie's not the only one that the Pony Swim or Chincoteague has inspired. We've got an author to tell us about her experience and the history of it all, and how it's inspired her when we get back. Well, we've been talking about it. The 100th annual Pony Swim in Chincoteague is coming up on Wednesday. It's 100 years of fun and tradition and history, and we know that Chincoteague has inspired many different people over the years, and especially authors. We have an author joining us on the Coast Life Couch today. We've got Susan Friedland joining us. And Susan, you've written a book that was inspired by another book and a little bit of your own personal interest in horses as well. So maybe take us back a little bit to the beginning, tell us about your book and what inspired you to write it.
Well, I was one of those horse crazy kids
Yep.
that the family didn't have enough money for a horse and we lived in a suburban neighborhood. But I found my way to horses through the books of Marguerite Henry at my local library. And so when I was around 12, my parents met some people that had horses in the next town over called Wayne, Illinois. That's going to be important in a second. But anyway, so they said, you know, we have horses, have your daughter come out and ride. So without real formal lessons or anything, I just hopped on and went on the
Not
trails.
terrified at all, just brave and jumping
When you're
on.
12,
I
it's
guess,
easier,
yeah.
you know?
So anyway, you know, there were trails and fields, open spaces specifically for riding. And I found out that Marguerite Henry, my favorite author, the author of Misty of Chincoteague, had lived there years earlier. So I thought that was really a cool point, like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite author. By this time, she was living in Southern California, and my path never crossed with her. But then flash forward to about 2018, I reread my childhood copy of Misty, fell in love all over again, and then I started thinking, like, maybe I could find her children or grandchildren. I knew she had passed in the 90s. And so what I thought would be maybe a blog post or a magazine article turned into a book.
So when people do get a hold of your book, Marguerite, Misty, and Me, what are they going to find inside?
Well, there is a little bit of a summary of Misty of Chincoteague for people who are unfamiliar or if it's been many years. And they will uncover just kind of my adventure of getting to know who she was. At first, I thought I was writing a biography. You know, she was born in 1902, she died in 1997. But then I realized that the adventures I had, you know, the University of Minnesota has her personal papers. So I spent a couple weeks in archives, digging through boxes, and I found fan letters people had written to her from the 1960s, and I held her Newbery Medal for King of the Wind in my hand. And so I couldn't really talk about that if I was straightforward biography. So, you know, there's a part in there about me. And then obviously the climax of the story was I had never been to Chincoteague. I'm a Midwest girl. I understood that part of who Marguerite was as a Midwesterner herself, but so I watched my first pony swim 3 years ago from a kayak.
Nice.
By myself.
You got to be out there on the water.
Yeah, I couldn't get anyone to come with me. So I'm like, well, I'm going for research. And so I went, and it turned out it was such a warm-hearted, as you know, joyful experience that I made friends.
Exciting.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of everything. It's kind of, you know, part Marguerite Henry biography, part my memoir of seeking after my hero.
You've also kind of remained connected to Chincoteague. You've got some events coming up this week that are kind of bookending Pony Swim. Where can people, you know, find you out and about?
Well, I would love to see people at the Museum of Chincoteague. So Tuesday night, I'm giving a talk at 6 p.m. and I think they probably should call the museum first just to make sure of the space. And then I'll be selling and signing books there. And then on Thursday, I'll be at the library, and then after the library, and that's at 1 on Thursday, at 2 we'll just walk down the street to Sundial Books and we'll be doing a book signing there.
Perfect.
And there's a lot of happy endings to this because just writing a book, that's an accomplishment on its own. It takes a tremendous amount of effort. But for the young you, the one that wanted a horse, you now have a horse.
I have a horse. Yay! Yeah, he's he's a former racehorse. He's a retired thoroughbred racehorse. His name is Tizza Knight, Knight with a K. I call him Knight.
Cute.
And he is a golden retriever in a tall, dark, and handsome gelding body. And he's my writing assistant. And, you know, Marguerite Henry, at the peak of her writing career, when she was writing Misty and Stormy and all of those books, when she would have a writing block, she would just go out in the backyard, hop on her horse. She had a black Morgan horse named Friday. She would take him for a spin, and it would clear her head. And when I got in the weeds of not, you know, knowing what my next chapter would be, I would go out and hop on my horse and, you know, just have a little break from the tedium.
I love that story. I love that part of it, that is now in your life.
So Susan, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your story, your inspiration, how we got to Marguerite, Misty, and me, and lots of ways for you to get a hold of this book, especially this week if you are headed down to Chincoteague to enjoy the pony swim. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Coming up on Coast Life, though, when we get back, we still have just a little bit more to get to before we send Charlie downstairs for Coast TV News at 5. So a little more Coast Life coming at you. Well, Coast Life, I know that an hour, it just flies right by, especially on a Monday, especially on a hot Monday afternoon. So stay cool out there. We do have lots going on this week. Don't forget, the 100th annual Chincoteague Pony Swim is coming up on Wednesday. Don't forget, our friends at Delmarva Sports Network are going to have full coverage of the Pony Swim. Charlie's going to be there. Madeline Overturf is going to be there. It's going to be like this ultimate Draper Media crossover, celebrating 100 years of tradition with that Chincoteague Pony Swim. And if you are going to the Pony Swim, you want to check out coasttv.com. We've got lots of things for you to kind of prepare for your trip. There's a carnival. There's some things you need to know that are new this year because it's the 100th annual. So just check in. A lot of stuff that you don't want to miss. Just like more Coast Life, which you don't want to miss tomorrow. We've got a lot more fun coming your way. But for now, Coast TV News at 5 is take things over from here. Charlie's downstairs getting ready for that broadcast. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.